Hello Virgo! Welcome to your love reading for October 2019 and welcome back to my channel, LunaSync Tarot. If you have a minute, hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications. I do love readings for each sign for each month. I've already shuffled your cards and I've laid them out here for you to see, so let's sync up. In the position of you, we have the Shaman of Discs. This is what you're bringing to the table in October in terms of your love connection. In the position of your partner, your connection, your lover, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, we have the Priestess of Swords. This is what they're bringing to the table in October. In the position of the combined energy, we have the Two of Cups reversed. And then in the position of the outcome or what needs to be understood and integrated, we have two cards, the Nine of Swords reversed and the Shaman of Swords reversed. So right off the bat, we have two shamans. Let's notice that we have two shamans and we have three swords. So really heavy on swords energy here, which has to do with the mind, the intellect, emotional distance. It has to do with communication. This is a very, like swords are very decisive, very intuitive. So let's go back here and start with you. In the position of you, we have the Shaman of Discs. You are squarely on your path. You know what you need to do in the world in order to achieve your goals, in order to make things happen. The shaman is really a personality that has a great deal of mastery over their world. They have had a lot of experience, and they've really turned that experience into knowledge and into wisdom. They also, because the eagle is here present in this image, you might have at this time a sense that you can see the whole picture. The eagle is when nests up really high, and when they fly, they have this global perspective. And so you might be experiencing a time right now in October where you really are taking a 60,000 foot view or a wide angle view, and you can see all of the pieces. Now, in the position of your partner, your love connection, we have the Priestess of Swords. The first thing I noticed about these two cards is that they're both on journeys. They seem to both be on paths, and they're diverging. So you might be experiencing a time of separation from your partner or a time of separation from your lover, either through distance or emotional distance. The Priestess of Swords is like that. Somebody who is very independent, very solitudinal, very alone, maybe taking a time out from their emotions or from this connection in order to gain perspective. The Priestess of Swords also has a companion animal, which is the owl. And the owl is all about long-sighted vision, being able to see into the future. So the Priestess of Swords is really, your partner is really looking into the future and taking a very, I don't know, like a future perspective on your relationship. So maybe your partner is like, hey, what kind of future do we have together? Do we want the same things in the future? I see that you're on this path and I'm on this path. What does our future hold for us? Because the Priestess of Swords does indicate a time of separation. And it seems like, you know, if you look at the imagery in these cards, these two figures are faced away from one another on divergent paths, walking separate paths. So, in the position of the combined energy is the Two of Cups. So this is, again, sort of a separation. When it's upright, it's a witnessing of one another. And so for some, there's some sort of block or obstacle in your ability to connect with one another or to see one another or witness one another in the position of your combined energy. There's some sort of emotional decision that needs to be made that hasn't maybe been made yet. But does need to be, that is on the horizon, that is in sort of the works, this decision that has to do with the heart, that has to do with the emotions. And then finally, in the position of what needs to be understood and integrated, we have the Nine of Swords. This is standing up and facing your fears. Instead of, you know, passively experiencing your anxieties and your fears. And it's like when You know, when your fears and your anxieties have more of a grip on you than you have on them, that feeling, which is this figure here lying down and sort of passively experiencing it and feeling like you don't have much control over it. The Nine of Swords reversed is actually standing up and facing your fears, overcoming your fears and anxieties. This is what needs to be understood and integrated. There's something that needs to be faced. And then finally we have the Shaman of Swords, feeling like you can't vocalize or use your voice to speak the truth. Somebody's silenced or silencing themselves or feeling silenced, not able to communicate, not able to share, not able to speak the truth in some way. This is both in what needs to be understood and integrated. All right, so let's pull some Tarot of Sexual Magic cards. I want to know how your partner is feeling about your connection in October. How do they feel about you? How do they feel about your connection? What's the chemistry like here? It does seem like there is a separation or a distance between the two of you in October. So let's see how they are feeling about you. The Priestess of Swords is sometimes referred to as the widow or as the divorcee, like the sort of perpetually independent, solitudinal woman. So we have strength, but it was in the reverse. In this picture, you see, in this card, you see the woman is wrestling this wild boar, and she has her hand on this wild boar's tusk and is wrestling it to the ground. She's really taming this beast, right? These primal instincts she's taming. In the reverse, it's the opposite. It's being sort of controlled by your emotions. You don't have control over your emotions, or this person does not have control over their base instincts, their primal instincts, control over their emotions at this point. And they're feeling pretty vulnerable as a result of it. That's how they feel about your love connection in October. How about you? How are you feeling about this connection? Oh, shoot. Here we go. We have 3 cards that fell out. Queen of Swords, which is the Priestess of Swords. So you do see them as this. You do see them. I feel like you have a clear picture of who they are right now. 7 of Pentacles. Ooh. And the 4 of Pentacles. Okay. Let's work this out. The Queen of Swords, in this imagery, she is sitting on a plush velvet seat with a very ornate robe on. There is a man in this picture in a military uniform, and she's looking at this man, and she's sort of pulling open her robe. She's naked beneath, and there's a heart with all kinds of needles stuck into it with candles and a bell. She seems very tight, very sort of rigid, and there's some sort of fascination with this man who is not real. It's just an image of a man. So some sort of fascination with what is not actually real, with this sort of unreality. And she is alone. So she's looking, it's like she's looking at her counterpart here, but he's not real. He's a picture of a man, and she is alone. And then we have the 7 of Pentacles, 2 drunk people in a chair together. They, she has what? Does she have liquid, or is that... Oh, she has ties around her wrist. She's drunk. She's like passed out, and he's like, his eyelids are barely open. He's kind of like lazily or drunkenly looking out at the distance. And so there's a lot of overindulgence happening here, and some transgressions as well in this picture of the 4 of Pentacles. So the 7 of Pentacles is about sort of waiting, like in this sort of waiting place. The 4 of Pentacles In this picture, you see a woman passed out and a man is taking advantage of her. And you don't get the sense that she really is aware of what's happening. So there's some transgression, there's some overindulgence, and there's some rigidity, some like, I don't know, frigid. This woman seems very frigid to me. This is how you feel about your love connection in October. Interesting. Let's put these up. All right. So, let's pull, I feel like I want to pull some clarifying cards. What's going on with what is the reverse Two of Cups about? I want to do all of these, that's why I'm sort of hesitating. Let's do the Two of Cups first, the Nine of Swords, and the Shaman of Swords next. Please clarify, let's clarify the Two of Cups reversed. What is this about? Oh, one flipped over here. Ooh, morality. Okay, there's so many similarities here between the Priestess of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and this morality figure. It's like being very rigid around your belief system, being very rigid around your ideas and your thoughts. And it's creating these obstacles. It's creating like a prison, a mental prison here. And so the Two of Cups reverse is you're not seeing each other. You're not coming together. There's not a witnessing. And it's a result of this rigidity, this intellectual rigidity or rigidity around thoughts and ideas and belief systems, ideologies. Yeah, because we have the Queen of Swords twice, and then we have morality, which is very similar to the Queen of Swords. Might very well be the Queen of Swords in this deck. I'd have to check and double check and look. Okay, let's clarify the Nine of Swords. What is the Nine of Swords about? Inner voice. So the Nine of Swords in reverse is about standing up and facing your fears. You might be wondering how you do that. Well, listening to your inner voice is critical. But number two is also about, so it's the High Priestess, right? And it's about making a decision. It's about walking through this gateway. And we did see, here's a 2 here. 2s are always about making a decision. There's some sort of decision that needs to be made here, and you're going to have to tap into your inner strength, your inner voice, get really quiet and listen very closely. In order to make that decision, part of making that decision is going to be standing up and facing your fears in some way. And then, what's the Shaman of Swords about? Let's clarify the Shaman of Swords. We talked about that being like feeling silenced, somebody silencing you, or there's something unspoken inside of this connection, some truth that needs to be told but is not being told, that's sort of stuffed or repressed. Clarify. We have the Transformation card, which is reversed. Yeah, so in order to create this transformation or this change in your connection in October, you will need to speak your truth in some way. And the transformation is blocked at this point because you are not speaking your truth, or some truth is being repressed or going unspoken inside of this connection in October. All right, let's pull a medicine card. I would like to seek some advice for you for how to navigate this connection and these issues in October. Let's pull one medicine card for Virgo. If this reading resonates with you, be sure to leave a comment below. Also, like the reading so that it can circulate amongst others. But let's pull one medicine card for you. I love these medicine cards. They really synthesize the reading, and they just offer, you know, another layer of guidance, especially if the reading is one of the more challenging readings. Ooh, skunk. This is about self-respect and reputation. Let's read about skunk. Skunk is teaching you that by walking your talk and by respecting yourself, you will create a position of strength and honored reputation. The carriage of your body relates to others what you believe about yourself. There's no need to bully, aggravate, torment, or overpower other beings when your sense of self is intact. As with skunk, the resonant field of energy around your body is relayed through the senses. Self-esteem permeates the body's energy and is instantly recognized on an extrasensory level by others. Learn to assert without ego what you are. Respect follows. Your self-respectful attitude will repel those who are not of like mind, and yet will attract those who choose the same pathway. As the odor of skunk attracts others of its kind, it repels those who will not respect its space. I like that a lot. If you've chosen this symbol, you're being asked to notice the kinds of people who are attracted to you. If they emulate favorable characteristics, have enough self-esteem to recognize these characteristics within yourself. Walk tall and be proud of the accomplishments you've made. Bear in mind that what you believe about yourself is your ultimate protection. Project self-respect. I cannot even count how many times the word self-respect or the words self-respect were said over and over again in those short paragraphs. So that's a very strong message for you inside of this connection. Somebody is not feeling like they can respect themselves. That might have something to do with not being willing to tell the truth or speak the truth or use your voice to share some essential truth that you know about this connection. There's some sort of transformation that is blocked as a result of that, and it's all intrinsically tied to this issue of self-respect. So Virgo, that was your love reading for October 2019. I'm wishing you the best. I hope you have a beautiful October and a beautiful start to your fall. Take good care.